Hello everyone, welcome back. So in the last lecture we discussed about regular graph, incident matrix and reduced incident matrix. So we learned how to represent a graph using a matrix. But today we are going to do the reverse process. So which is also very much important. So today's topic is how to reconstruct or obtain a graph from the reduced incident matrix. So this concept is very much important in network analysis, circuit analysis, and graph reconstruction problems. So let us begin with a quick recall. So a reduced incident matrix is obtained by removing one row from the incident matrix. So that means each row represents a vertex. So except the removed one, and the each column represents an edge or the branch. And in each column we typically have 1 plus 1 and 1 minus 1 for the directed graphs or two ones for unidirected graphs. So now let's understand the procedure to construct the graph. So as we can see here, this example shows a reduced incident matrix. So let us consider the branch and the nodes. So the rows represent the nodes. So let us consider we have nodes A, B, C, D. Since it is a reduced incident matrix, so we'll be having another node which is E. Then the branches are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have total 8 branches. So now in order to determine the value of the last row, then we have to consider the property 1, which states that the addition of the branch values equals to 0. So in order to complete that, if we see the first one is already complete, so it will be 0. Second one is also complete, so it is 0. Third one is also complete, so 0. Fourth one is also complete, so 0. In the fifth one, we have a missing value, so which is -1. Sixth one, we have a missing value -1. Seven one is also having a missing value -1, and the eighth branch is also having -1. So now this represents our incident matrix. Now from here we have to go back to the graph. So now as we can see here, we have 5 total nodes. So let us consider we have A, B, then we have suppose C, and then suppose we have D. So we'll see where to put the value of E. First let us consider we are considering A, B, C, D node. Then accordingly we'll put the node E, determining on the direction of the branches. So to start with, as you can see, the first branch is between A and D. So between A and D, we have the first branch. So it will be this. And what we can see here, in A it is -1, in D it is +1. So it is moving from D to A. So the direction will be this one. So as we have drawn here like A, B, C, D in this format, so it is not necessary that you will always be writing in this format. You can also put in some other formats like A, B, C, or D, or E can be somewhere here, or E can also be here, or E can also be here. So let's see the remaining. So let us consider we'll have only one E. So this can be another combination. So now coming back to our problem. So now for branch 2, it is in between A and B, and the negative is towards A, so it is moving in this direction, right? So this is 1, this is 2. Now coming to the third, it is between B and C. So B and C, and the negative is towards C, so it is in this direction, right? Then number 4 is in between C and D. So in between C and D, and negative is towards C. So it will be in this direction. So this is 3, this is 4. Now coming from 5, we have the value of E. So now as you can see, it is between B and E. So we can consider the node E inside or outside this loop. So if we consider it inside, so let us consider this as E, and let's see what are the branches. So the 5 is between B and E. So between B and E, and it is towards E. So the direction is this one. Similarly, if we draw the remaining, so 6 will be between C and E. So it is this. So it is moving towards E. So it is again this. So this is 5, this is 6. Then 7 is between A and E. So A and E, again it is in this direction. So this is a 7. And the 8th one is between D and E. So it is like this. And this is moving towards E. So this is the required graph which we have determined from the reduced incidence matrix. So how the steps are being done? So if we recall, then first we have to determine the incidence matrix. So incidence matrix is determined by writing down the remaining row which is not available in the reduced incidence matrix. Then from the values of nodes and the branches, we will consider the node first, put some random points. So determining on the number of nodes, so we'll be putting the number of points, and then accordingly we will join the branches. So which will give us the finally the output of the graph. So I hope you have understood this, how to determine the graph from a reduced incidence matrix or the graph from an incidence matrix, right? So like this, you try to solve the numericals which are given in your book. So whichever book you are following, so you will be having incidence matrix or reduced incidence matrix. So try to determine the graph from that incidence matrix. So it is as simple as that. So in order to remember the definitions, try to visualize the graphs, so which will be very much helpful for you to understand. So essentially, we are reading each column as edge instructions and reconstructing connectivity step by step. So let's summarize. The number of vertices equals to rows plus 1. The number of edges equals to the columns, and each column define one edge, and missing entry is the connection to the removed vertex. So in the next lecture, we'll be moving towards the idea of how to determine the number of trees that we can draw from any graph, and then continuing to tie-set and cut-set matrix. So understanding graph theory is not about memorizing, it's about decoding connections step by step. So I hope you have understood, and if you find this helpful, then do like, share and subscribe, and continue following our videos so that you don't miss any content. Thank you all.